this is Organizational Management at Washtenaw Community College, Office of Student Organizations. First, let's go over some recommendations. We recommend utilizing a Google Suite to create a club email, Google Drive, and officer chat for club management. Include your officer team members, including your club advisor, as content managers. This will allow new leaders to have historical documents and make it an easier transition for you and your club moving forward. Create a semester schedule, each semester consulting your officer team and your club advisor. Review and make edits, if needed, to your bylaws or constitution each semester. Utilize agendas for your club meetings and keep track of meeting minutes and just your meetings in general. Take your time filling out forms. The more detail you add, the easier submission is to review for the Office of Student Organizations. Let's talk about requirements in the bylaws and constitutions. Student clubs within the support, diversity, and academic designations are required to have a club bylaws or constitution on file along with the semester schedule within 15 business days of their semesterly registration request approval. Constitutions do not need to be updated on a semesterly basis, but encouraged to be reviewed and updated on a yearly basis by the student club. Templates of club constitutions and semesterly schedules are available on the Student Organization's Campus Connect portal in the Documents section. Next, let's talk about semester schedules. This is important to keep the club organized and let the Office of Student Organizations have a glimpse of what the club intends to accomplish that semester. We understand that semester schedule is always subject to change. We feel that having clubs create a plan for the semester helps avoid the last-minute request for event support. Again, we do understand that on occasion clubs will come forward with an event idea that they didn't originally plan. Next, let's talk about attendance. This is available for every designation of student clubs. Student clubs are required to collect attendance for any club meetings or club event using the Office of Student Organization's attendance form. Individual attendees must open the form, log into Campus Connect, and verify their attendance in order to be counted. Each club will receive a QR code with a link to the form embedded into the graphic. Flyers with QR codes will also be placed in the reserved meeting rooms for students. If your club prefers to not have a QR code, we are also happy to provide a paper attendance sheet for clubs to fill out as well. Attendance that is recorded at meetings will be reviewed on a weekly basis. Students who attend meetings will be added to the Hosting Events Campus Connect portal as a new member. For every 25 unique students who attend club meetings or a club event, the club will be awarded $50 of funding from the Office of Student Organizations toward a club meal. Funding must be used during the semester that the funds are awarded. Funds will not roll over from semester to semester. If clubs fail to record attendance 3 or more times per semester, they will be contacted by the supervisor of student organizations and create a plan to accurately record attendance in the future. If attendance tracking continues to be an issue for the club, the Campus Connect portal will become taken down from the public view and they will lose their meeting room space for the remainder of the semester. Next, let's talk about form management. There are a variety of forms that student leaders are responsible for filling out if they are intending to receive support or funding from the Office of Student Organizations. We ask that student leaders give us at least 10 business days notice from the time of the submission to the date of support. It is highly encouraged that students take their time filling out forms. Giving more thought and detail will allow Office of Student Organizations to review and understand the student leader's request more effectively. First, let's talk about the event form. Currently registered student organizations can add events and request support through the event form located in the Events tab on the Campus Connect portal. Student clubs will need to use the event form if they are requesting the following: event space beyond their normal meeting reservations, funding events, table request, food request, fundraising events. Please be aware that the level of support given through the event form is determined by the designation the club is requesting support within. Next, let's talk about the Copy Center printing request form. When clubs want flyers or promotional material printed, they will request support using the Copy Center printing request form, located in the Office of Student Organizations Campus Connect portal in the Forms section. The Office of Student Organizations will print and cover the cost of the requested items. We will also hang flyers around campus on the boards maintained by the Department of Student Development and Activities. Next, let's talk about the Educational Mini-Grant form. This is only available for support, diversity, and academic designations for clubs. This form is intended for the club under the support, diversity, and academic designations. We collaborate with student leaders to provide a unique club educational events on and off campus to improve students' lives at WCC. They are a commitment of time and resources from the Office of Student Organizations to collaboratively develop an event or activity to benefit Washtenaw Community College. Student organizations' educational mini-grant proposals are intended to support one-time educational club events or activities led by an officer of a registered student club at Washtenaw Community College. Student clubs may apply for event support for up to $250 for an educational event. Funding for approved student organizations' educational mini-grants will be dependent upon the approved budget that the supervisor of student organizations and the student leaders agree upon at the mini-grant planning meeting before the event takes place. Funding is on a use-it-or-lose-it basis. If a student club does not use the total amount of funding, it will not roll over to be available to use for purchases outside of the approved event. After the event takes place, the funding support is no longer available for the student club. All purchases will be made by the supervisor of student organizations. Requests for items to be purchased after the mini-grant planning meeting will not be supported, and reimbursements for items purchased will not be given to student leaders or advisors. Student clubs can find this form on the Student Organizations Campus Connect portal in the Forms section. All right, so let's talk about the mini-grant recap assessment form. If a student club's student organization's mini-grant proposal is approved and the event has been supported by the Office of Student Organizations, the student club has the responsibility of filling out a recap assessment within 10 business days after the event. It is also expected that the student leaders upload at least 3 photos of the funded event. If a student club fails to submit this form, they will not be eligible for mini-grant funding for the following 2 academic semesters. Student clubs can find this form in the Student Organizations Campus Connect portal in the Forms section. Next, let's talk about officer transitions. When a club leader moves on from their leadership position, it is important that a club makes the supervisor of student organizations aware of the transition. The current student leader or advisor should either set up a meeting or send an email to introduce the new student leadership. The supervisor of student organizations will set up a time to meet with the new student leader and discuss responsibilities and transitions club information to the new leader within the Office of Student Organizations. Next, let's talk about agency accounts. These are available for support, diversity, and academic clubs. The Department of Student Development and Activities is tasked with the financial tracking and the responsibility of all student club agency accounts. Academic student clubs and clubs run through Washtenaw Community College's departments will hold their club financials raised by the student club within a WCC agency account. These accounts hold money raised or donated to the club. Student clubs will need to coordinate purchases out of these accounts with the supervisor of student organizations. All purchases must fall within Washtenaw Community College's purchasing procedures. The supervisor of student organizations will advise the student club if requested purchases fall outside the Washtenaw Community College purchasing procedures. All funds collected and all purchases must be made by the supervisor of student organizations. Agency accounts do not operate like typical bank accounts, and there is not an option for cash withdrawal for students. Purchasing. This is again available for social political service, support diversity, and academic clubs. Purchases should be limited to the group activity of the student organization or a donation to a registered nonprofit. Purchases should never directly benefit an individual club member, their friends, their family, or an associated privately owned business. Purchases must reflect the club and colleges in a positive manner and support recognized activities. The purchase of alcohol or other illicit substances with club funds is prohibited. For social political service clubs, all purchases are to be conducted by the responsible owner of the University of Michigan Credit Union off-campus student club bank account and follow their guidelines detailed in the WCC Student Organization's off-campus banking procedure, as well as all state and federal requirements. For diversity support and academic clubs, all purchases must be coordinated with the Office of Student Organizations and follow all relevant college purchase procedures. Club members should not make any purchases unless directed by the supervisor of student organizations. Reimbursements. Student clubs are not eligible for direct reimbursements from the Office of Student Organizations for purchases made by club leaders. All purchases must be coordinated and approved in advance within the Office of Student Organizations. In the case of an approved reimbursement, the Department of Student Development and Activities will only reimburse the club advisor for pre-approved purchases by the supervisor of student organizations. We will need an itemized receipt from the advisor to process the reimbursement. Once the purchase is approved, the supervisor of student organizations, the Student Development Activities Technical Assistant, will contact the student club advisor and request that they sign an employee reimbursement form. The technical assistant will process the form and the amount to be reimbursed will appear during the next payment period from Washtenaw Community College. Fundraising. When collecting funds, clubs may not use the Washtenaw Community College name, logo, or likeness during their fundraising event. Clubs do not represent the college when collecting funds for their individual student club. Clubs should publicly disclose intended use of collected funds when fundraising. Funds collected from donations or sale of items may never directly benefit an individual. All funds must be used on club business and activities for their student organization, collecting or be donated to a registered nonprofit organization. Personal profit for internal students or external community members is not allowed at student organization-sponsored events. Fundraising by designation. For social political service clubs, cash boxes are not available from student organizations. Club members must collect, transport, and deposit funds into their University of Michigan Credit Union off-campus bank account. When collecting funds in an approved on-campus fundraiser, table, or event, the club must come into the Office of Student Organizations upon completion of the event to reconcile the funds collected and sign an affidavit to confirm the amount collected and intent to deposit them into their club off-campus account. Off-campus fundraisers do not require an affidavit unless formally approved or supported by the Office of Student Organizations. Please note that checks donated to social clubs must be made out to the name of the off-campus bank account. For diversity support and academic clubs, cash boxes are available to borrow from the Office of Student Organizations when requesting a cash box. The party responsible must bring a valid student ID at the time of the cash box is picked up. Student organizations will hold their student ID until the funds are dropped off and deposited. Cash boxes will come with $50 to allow for change. The $50 will be deducted from your final deposit when the cash box is returned. Cash boxes should be returned and reconciled with the Office of Student Organizations daily if the fundraiser takes place over multiple days. The club leader and student organization staff must both be present and sign off on the deposit. All deposits will go through the club's on-campus agency account. Please note that donated checks for diversity support and academic club fundraisers must be made out to Washtenaw Community College. Please also note, at this time, WCC cannot directly support online fundraising for diversity support and academic clubs. Donations and deposits. Clubs who wish to solicit donations may not compete for donations with our Washtenaw Community College Foundation Office. Student clubs must communicate in advance with the Office of Student Organizations and the Foundation Office of their intended businesses who they wish to request funds from for their club. Student clubs will not be able to solicit funds from businesses that already contribute donations to Washtenaw Community College through our foundation. All student clubs are prohibited from using WCC's tax identification number to solicit donations. Student clubs are also prohibited from providing a company with a letter of donation or a tax-exempt letter on behalf of Washtenaw Community College. If a club wishes to donate to a nonprofit organization, the student club is responsible for identifying the intended donation at the time of the funds are initially submitted to the Office of Student Organizations. The supervisor of student organizations will work with the student club to ensure money collected on campus is delivered to the proper organization. Once deposited into an agency account, the funds may not be used for the purpose of donation. Drawings and raffles. A raffle is a means of raising money by selling entries, in which one or some entries are drawn at random and awarded an item of value. A drawing is giving away a free entry with no cost or donation required, in which one or some entries are drawn at random and awarded an item of value. If a student club wishes to hold a raffle, they will need to obtain a license from the State of Michigan Lottery. You need to apply at least 30 days in advance and pay the processing fee to obtain a license. The Office of Student Organizations is not responsible for a payment of raffle license, and Connect purchases a license using college or agency account funding. When holding a raffle on campus, the student club must supply the Department of Student Development Activities with a copy of a license prior to the event and have a copy of the license present with them the day of the raffle. Thank you and have a great day.